Hey, what's going on, family? It's Brother Coasty here at IALLG, and we're always building bridges within to explore the world without. Today's conversation is a little complex, but not so much. We're going to talk about processes, journey, fear, and danger. Okay. My goal is not to hold you on here too long, as always, but this can be kind of lengthy. But here we go, right? So I want everybody to understand and to really get a firm grasp on processes and journeys. Okay, so I write everything down, as you all know by now. I get my little sticky notes because the thoughts and ideas, they just run rampant, and I want to be able to share as much as possible with you all. Right, so we're talking about a process. A process is ongoing, right? And when I talk about this process, and specifically to this conversation, it's the process of self perfection, the process of self actualization. And this is an ongoing process. And I want to make that abundantly clear because so many of us are in a rush to get to this end journey of full self actualization or self realization. And we're rushing it and we're trying to force things in. We're putting ourselves in, I don't want to say uncomfortable because uncomfortable is good, but it's we put ourselves in these extreme situations that are not always conducive to our growth. We got to understand we're in a process, and understanding that allows you to take life a little more easy on yourself, right? We don't have to rush so much, and we don't have to have such a rigid structure, but rather the process of self-actualization is aligning. So we'll say it like this. In an ideal world, we will be born, and our parents would teach us to be on this path, and our focus would be like this. We wouldn't look left and right because there would be no need, and we would understand that those are just distractions in the ideal world. So we're just walking our path, and it's a lot easier, I guess. It's like we watch the movies and whatnot, and we see that some people are born in like a warrior tribe, and they're born and raised from birth to be a warrior. So anything outside of that is like irrelevant. They don't pay attention to it. But unfortunately, we don't live in that kind of society, and since we don't, we have to undertake extra processes. And one of those extra processes is realignment. And so when I'm talking about it, it's like this. This is our attention, this is our focus, and it just kind of goes out everywhere. And I want to mention this on this video that there's a difference between interests and your passions, right? Interest catches your attention, but it's not always something that you're gonna stay long term. Um, We'll put it like this, when you're a child, your interest is in cartoons, and perhaps as you get older, you don't find it interesting anymore, unless you're an anime person. It doesn't matter, but I hope you guys understand that interests are kind of like seasonal; they come and go. But our passions, they're typically a fire. There's like a fire within, and sometimes that kindling can get kind of low, so the fire doesn't burn as bright, and it makes it easier to not identify the passion, but it's still there nonetheless. And the processes of alignment allows us to rekindle this fire so we can become more aware of our passion. In other words, we become more aware of our function, of our purpose for being here. But anyways, the process I'm talking about is doing this, right? We slowly but surely start narrowing our focus and our attention, and so now we are in alignment with our passion. And that's a process that a lot of people find hard to do because they think it's going to happen like that. But you got to realize we started like this, and over time we ended up like this. It took years to get to this point where we're so distracted and so overstimulated. So it's going to take time to bring us back to this narrowed focus, right? That's a process. But what we do on this process or in this process is we take multiple journeys. And this is the fun part, right? So everybody's like, "Well, I'm on my journey." Well, what journey are you on? Because a journey has a set destination, right? So I'm going from here to the grocery store. That's a journey. And once I get to the grocery store, my journey is over and I start another one. Our processes are filled with journeys. I'm just reading what I initially wrote. We have to understand that these journeys that we're on, they're designed to equip us with the knowledge and the tools to complete our processes. Now, a process is ongoing, but it can have a completion, you know. um it elicits an end result, but it's a lot longer than a journey per se, right? um it's just a different process, you know. It's a different route. You know, there's a process designed, like, you know, in building a machine. But you won't say that you're on a process to go to the grocery store. You know, that's a journey. But within the process, there are journeys. In other words, a journey more or less is and a it's a goal. Basically, you could put it like a goal or a marker, right? So a process has multiple markers. Okay, so a journey is a marker, and a process has multiple journeys or multiple markers. And it allows us to continue the process and see where we're at in our process. And so I want to let you all know that. So as we're developing, as we're going on this process of self-actualization, self-realization, inner alignment, you're going to have multiple journeys. That means you're going to have different markers. That means sometimes your journey right now might be battling your mind. And sometimes the journey might be battling, you know, your tongue. And sometimes the journey might be just battling staying still or being still. You know what I'm saying? So understand this and be patient with yourself and show yourself grace, because life is unfolding. It doesn't just pop out. It doesn't just tell you the answer. You have to discover things. In order to discover the real truth and a deeper truth, you have to go on multiple journeys. You have to get the knowledge, the tools, the skills, the understandings, the wisdoms, the experiences, so that when something new happens, you understand how to properly classify it and how it fits into your overall development. I hope I didn't, go to academia with it. I don't like to go too, too far into the academic world, because honestly, it's just a lot of definitions. And to be frank with you all, I talk a lot. I know you all know this. I can talk for quite some time, but I don't always like to talk. And the reason being is the words will never accurately and with full justice explain what goes on in here. There's an understanding that has to take place. And sometimes the academia is just classification. And what that means is it's just a multitude of different explanations or a multitude of different definitions that describe a concept, and concepts can't fully ever be explained. It's like we use the word beauty, but beauty doesn't really all the way classify something when you call it that, right? So when a child is born, or maybe when you do that thing that you've been trying to do, like, so you graduate, or maybe you finish a book, or you do a great accomplishment and you say, I'm proud of myself. Or your child is born, you say they're beautiful. You use that word, but it doesn't fully embody what you're experiencing. It's just kind of like a placeholder, a temporary placeholder, so somebody can kind of get it. And that's why I don't like to go too far into the academia world, because you know everybody has different perspectives. But back to the rest of this topic. We're almost done here. We kind of went over processes and journeys, and I want to talk to y'all about something else, about fear and danger, because you're gonna encounter these things, or at least danger, when you're on your journey or your journeys in the process. The difference between fear and danger is fear is a thought, danger is a feeling. Okay, fear is a thought. That means you made it up. I want y'all to realize that you make up fear. Fear is like a virus almost. And it's, you fear things typically when you don't realize who and what you are. And I don't mean like I'm a human or I'm a man or whatever the case may be. I mean you are limitless in nature. You are a spirit having a human experience. And so there's no need to fear because you can't die. You may leave this plane of existence, but you can't really die. You know, the saying is anything that real can't be threatened, and you shouldn't be able to be threatened. Being threatened means that you are acknowledging fear almost. And you shouldn't acknowledge fear because it's just a thought. And your thoughts come and go. But danger is a very real danger is letting you know that something can be harmed. Now, harming is a very real thing. Danger is a very real thing. But just because you're in a dangerous situation does not mean you have to fear it. It means you need to acknowledge it. You need to be aware of the dangerous items, but you can overcome it. And when you're on your journey, when you're on when you're in the process, you're going to encounter danger. You're going to encounter it. The goal in one of the journeys that you're going to embark on is understanding how to handle danger, is to stay calm and stay peaceful, to make sure that you stay mentally alert so that you can handle the danger, but you don't become mentally congested so that fear becomes the predominant thought. We have to understand these things, family. And the faster we understand these things and when we apply what we know, the better we progress and the better we become, and the more self-actualized we become, and the more inner aligned we become. And therefore, we're able to do what we came here to do. That's it today, family. I want to let y'all know before I end this, it's important to go on this process. It's important to finish it to completion as best as you can because the world is waiting on you. We are basically a whole bunch of cogs. I know people say you're just a cog in a machine, but it's true and it's not a bad thing. You know what a cog in a machine, you know what happens when one cog in a machine stops? The whole machine has issues. You're not trivial. You're not some insignificant part. You're very much important because the role that you play affects everything around you. And so when you understand your role, you help the rest of us. You help the ascension of mankind. You help the ascension of this world. You help global ascension. And that's why I come on here. That's why I share the knowledge, because we're in this together and we need each other. We need each other. You got to recognize that, family. If you'd like a little more assistance, as always, if you like some one-on-one guidance, or maybe you'd like some DIY, assistance, I want you to visit the link in the description here or in the bio, wherever you're watching this video. That's linktree/IALLG. I want you to check out either the ebooks, my e-courses, or I want you to send me an email at support@IALLG.com. The information it is in the description, but let's get on the healing journey, family. Let's get to where we need to go. Get the help, the assistance, the support that you need so that you continue the journey, so that you're not held up, that we're not in the same position a year or two from now, so that we're not running in circles, running our energy loose and thin, and then figuring out why we feel so stuck. Let's keep progressing. This is Brother Coasty at IALLG.com. And as always, we're building bridges within to explore the world without. Peace, family.